the ceiling is, obviously the goal is to become a UFC champion. It's like I'm 16 and, a lot of the guys in UFC, they don't hit their peak till, 29, 30 years old. I'm only 16. I'm a long way from, I'm almost double my lifetime away from that, So I think with the amount of time and experience I have and just learning from everything, I think there's no reason I can't become a UFC champion one day.
Christopher de Santiago with MMA Islander. Today, we're talking to one of America's top prospects at 16 years old. We have on Jackson Glass with a record of 13-0 in Muay Thai. Jackson, how's it going today?
Going pretty good. Just got done sparring. Looking forward to the interview.
And awesome. And, I believe you're from Austin, Texas. You're over there in Vegas. Can you tell me what you're doing over there?
Yeah, right now in Vegas, I used to train with Cody Steele in Austin a lot, and then he moved to Vegas like a couple weeks ago. So I just came out here to train with Cody and a couple of my other friends out here, just getting some extra MMA training in.
Awesome. I love Vegas. How long are you there for?
I came here last Wednesday, last Tuesday night. My last day is like today. I'm leaving back to Austin tomorrow.
Oh, cool, cool. I know it's kind of like a business trip, but how have you been spending your time? Have you been staying? Have you been able to explore all the cool sites over there in Vegas?
Last time I came here, I explored a little bit more. I went like hiking and went to the strip a little bit. This time it's just been all training. So it's basically just wake up, go train, come back, take a nap, then go back to training. That's really all I've been doing since out here. So
Hmm. What are some of the gyms that you've been hitting up? I saw that Syndicate was one of them. Is there any more that you've been hitting up?
for MMA and like I do some grappling there and striking. Syndicate, they have a really good MMA program, really good Muay Thai, really good Jiu-Jitsu, like all around very good. And then I've been to Andy Varela's gym. It's like 10th Planet, Vegas. It's in like Henderson. I went there like twice. I'm going there again tonight, and they have probably some of the best Noki I've got to train with.
Hmm. At 16 years old, how cool is it to say that you've sparred with a possibly a future UFC bantamweight champion, Merab Dvalishvili? How cool is that?
Oh, it was awesome. I saw Merab came in, and I was just looking forward to get to sparring him. And he's a super nice guy. Like it's awesome. He came in, or he was able to let me work with him, and all around great dude. And it was sick sparring him. It was a good round.
Yeah, like was it kind of scary to go in there with a killer like that? I saw that he caught you some good shots, maybe like a spinning back fist on the breakaway. Was there kind of some fear in there?
I've sparred like a lot of high level guys now. Maybe like a couple years ago, when I was sparring these high level guys, it's a little more scary. But now after sparring like so many different guys, you get in there, it's just another sparring. But Maraba is very high level, like his grappling, his strength, even his striking. Even though it's unorthodox, it's still very hard to deal with. So
Hmm.
it was still good.
Hmm. And for the people that don't know, I met Jackson back in maybe like 2020, post pandemic. I saw you there with your team, and you've been training for a lot of years now. I kind of want to ask you about your background and when did you start training in combat sports and martial arts? So when did that all start for you?
So I was originally born in New York, and then I moved to Austin when I was like 3.5. So I started jiu-jitsu like pretty much right away. There's a gym like really close to my house, so I started when I was like 3.5. I always kind of did boxing with my dad, but eventually I switched gyms to Fight Factory when I was like 10 or 11. And then they had a striking program there, Ambush Muay Thai. They were doing striking there, so I started doing striking there like a lot more. And then from there is when I started getting into striking. So I started grappling at about like 3.5, which is very young, but that's when I got started. And then striking at about 11. So I've been really focused on striking like the past 5 years.
Like going away from striking into the ground game, how has that been for you?
Like I've been doing a little bit more grappling now, just because of it's been harder to get like Muay Thai fights and stuff, and just starting to focus on MMA. But the grappling, some people have seen me trying to jump over people. They just call it the flying squirrel. So I've been trying to do that to people. I enjoy grappling. It's the thing I started with. So I always love competing in jiu-jitsu, especially like the ADCC tournaments. Those are always fun. You go in there, get a lot of matches. So those are always exciting to do.
Is the goal for you, considering your background in Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu, boxing, like, is the goal for you at some point to get into MMA and like into MMA fight?
Yeah, the goal this year is to fight MMA after I turn 17. I turned 17 in August. So hopefully to fighting MMA in either late August or early September for Fury. Hopefully it's a pretty big promotion out in Texas. So looking forward to fighting for them and seeing where that goes.
I know a lot of fighters, they like to have a lot of experience on the amateur scene because once they go pro, it's all hard fights, stuff like that. So how many amateur fights would you like to have? I know that's a question that's saved for later on, but how many fights would you like to have as an amateur?
I've honestly been thinking about that a little bit and talked to some people. I really only want to do maybe one amateur, maybe two, but just one amateur, get a feel for MMA and stuff like that, and then try to go pro pretty quick. I mean, it's like there's a difference between Muay Thai and MMA, and how everything is, but I don't feel like I need to spend a ton of time with amateurs. Fight once or twice in amateurs and seeing where that goes, and hopefully going pro after that.
And you've been training since 10 and 11. Do you feel like your experience sets yourself apart from other amateurs and other fighters on the come up?
I think that does, but I also think how much I train. Like I basically wake up, train. I'm training all day long. It's training 2, 3 times a day with high level people and mixing up my training. Like coming out here to Vegas, I think that's what really starts to set me apart. Is just how much I'm training and studying and looking to improve my game.
How do you stay motivated?
I think like motivation when it comes to that kind of stuff is I've always wanted to be a UFC champion or fight for whatever these promotions, and I feel like that motivation of always becoming a high level fighter UFC champion is always in the back of my head, and it kind of drives me to get better. And I won't be happy until I've reached that goal. Kind of I need to get there, so that's definitely a big motivation.
How long has that been a dream of yours to become UFC champion? Did it start at a young age, or was it just until recently?
I've kind of even before I started doing striking, I always had MMA. Like when I started watching Conor McGregor, like long, long time ago, I was like 7 or 8 years old and saw him fight, and I was like, oh, I want to be like that. I'm not as big as a Conor fan anymore, but back in the day, I was a big Conor fan, and he motivated me. Like just seeing how he came up and how big he got was like a big inspiration. So I think that's a big factor.
So now, Connor had the shaved head look when he was on the come up. Is that kind of, or like, why did you shave your head?
Well, I actually shaved my parents shaved my head when I was like 3 years old, and then it just turned into a mohawk from grappling a little bit, like a little mohawk, and then after that, just kind of always stuck with it. It's pretty funny. People always get the Caillou Last Airbender references, so it's just kind of been my thing for a long time now.
You trained with a lot of good people over there at Ambush Muay Thai, man. I think Cody Steele's a standout guy too. He's 5-0. Uh, he might be one of the people that gets to the UFC soon. But out of the other people that you train with, who do you think is knocking on the door of the UFC and will be there soon?
Definitely Damian Anderson. Damian, he trains mostly known as the grappler from B Team, but he's coming with MMA, and me and Damian train a lot of striking. He's only been doing striking with us for not even a year and a half yet, and his striking has like improved a lot. He gives me some of my toughest training. We're always training together, trying to get better. He's gonna get to the UFC very soon. So keep an eye out for Damian for sure.
Mm. You're over there in Vegas. What's the school situation like for you?
So I don't do school anymore. I was homeschooled my whole life. Never went to public school a day in my life, and I got school done a little bit early. And my whole focus now is just focus on fighting. It's fighting or nothing.
Cool. Was it kind of hard to make that decision because obviously it is kind of a different kind of lifestyle choice? Was that decision kind of hard for you and your family to make?
My family's they've always supported this goal. They know this that they know this is what I want to do. I think they honestly were influencing me to like really pursue this, and they got my back behind everything. So it wasn't hard. I mean, for other people, they might think it's hard, but for me and my family, they know this is what I want to do. They know this is my dream, so they're all behind me in that.
Uh, Jackson, you've been training with world class athletes, whether it's in Vegas or San Antonio or Austin. You've been working with some high level guys. And at 16 years old, I just wanted to ask you, what do you think the ceiling is for Jackson Glass, and how far can you go in this combat sports career of yours?
I mean, I think the ceiling is, obviously the goal is to become a UFC champion. It's like I'm 16, and a lot of the guys in UFC they don't hit their peak till 29, 30 years old. I'm only 16. I'm a long way from. I'm almost double my lifetime away from that. So I think with the amount of time and experience I have and just learning from everything, I think there's no reason I can't become a UFC champion one day.
Like John Jones, he became champion at a very young age of 23. We've seen Rose Namajunas challenge for a title at 22. Is that something that is a dream of yours to become the UFC's youngest champion? Because I know that is a record that's going to be hard to beat.
It's gonna be very tough to beat, but we'll see. We'll see if I can get there. I don't want to rush anything. I don't think there's a huge need to try to rush everything too quick. But if I can find a way to break that record, I'll try my best.
Do you have a nickname in mind for your like combat sports career?
I don't have a nickname yet. It's hard with my last name because the last name's not the best last name for fighting. But some people they've said like Jackson Action Glass, or Action Jackson. Bulletproof Glass is a pretty good one, but that one could backfire. So we're waiting on a nickname right now.
Hey, Bulletproof's a pretty good one. I've heard a lot of good ones, but I think that might stick for you.
Yeah, Bulletproof was pretty good. I can't lie.
Awesome, Jackson. Well, I think that's all the questions I had for you, man. I just want to thank you again for the time. Is there anything that you want to say to the fans out there watching?
Nothing much. I just want to say, hope everyone, if you guys follow me or decide to follow me, I hope you guys all enjoy watching my journey. The goal is one day to reach to the top. So hopefully we can make it. And you guys get to watch.